Welcome to RuralVacantLand.com. This is Luke Smith, and just started a live video on YouTube, and I've got Scott Caldwell on the phone, and we're going to be giving away some free land towards the end of this video. So if you're just chiming in, should listen up, pay attention. We'll give away a free piece of property at the end of the video. Scott, trying to figure out how to describe Scott. He bought a property from me. He bought a couple properties from me in the past, and eventually he said, "Luke, why don't you resell these properties for me?" And we came up with the the agreement to go resell the properties. And so I resold the properties, I think a couple of them, and then he started sending more money to buy even more properties and do it for the next one, and now he's stepping it up a notch and says, "Let's send out some mail too." And so that's what we're doing today. We're putting together a mailer, and I think we're going to put Scott on half the calls, right, Scott? You're going to answer some of the calls?
That's correct, Luke. Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad to be here too, by the way.
Sure. Thanks for coming on the line. He had to leave work early and try to make this happen. I'm going to try to pull this video off before I have to go get the kids from school. So I've been thinking and researching different areas to mail. I've mailed lots of areas over time, but what I'm thinking of is it's springtime. It's spring's coming up, and northern stuff is, I think, going to be more on the docket than the deserts. A lot of the desert lands that I deal in, they don't sell as well in the summer, and I don't really want to go buy a whole bunch more desert land right before the summer. And so I think buying green stuff where the leaves are popping and the flowers are starting to come in is a good thing. People will go out in the spring, go check these properties out, make them happen, and I think this is a good time to get those kinds of properties. So a couple mailers we've been doing, Oregon, Idaho, Montana kinds of stuff. I like California. Looking at the other land dealers, for the amount of people in California and properties in California, there's not that much land dealings going on for the properties that are in California. The main land dealers that work properties in California are Southern California, a lot of the deserts, but a lot of the Alpine California, the mountains up the hill, are not really being hit much. I've sent some mail up there. I see a smattering of other dealers up there. I was doing some research the last bit on what other dealers have been mailing their offers at, because you can see their tracks in the markets. And so I think I've got that pretty figured out for around the Lake Tahoe area, like the California side of Lake Tahoe. And there's some beautiful land up there. The land will sell itself. I think if we get it at the right price, it'll sell itself. So if you're on board with that, Scott, that's my premise for today. I'd like to dig into a couple of these smaller counties that are near Lake Tahoe, that are probably a bit higher dollar than a lot of the desert lands we're usually going after, but a lot more character, a lot more trees and topography and color and uniqueness to each property. You still there?
Yeah, I'm definitely on board, Luke. I feel that I agree with you that the springtime's a nice time to buy up, in the greener areas. The first couple of properties that we did together, I actually went out and looked at one in Arizona, and you're right, it's desert, so much more appealing if there's, looks more like something they're used to seeing than a buyer might be used to seeing in the desert. Yeah, I'm definitely on board for it.
There's definitely buyers for the desert, the right times, the right prices and everything. I mean, I sell desert properties pretty much every day, but it's I don't want to be all desert properties all the time, so change it up a little bit. So let's look at the chat for a minute. I don't know if you can see the chat on your side, Scott. Maybe you could read some of the comments and questions and stuff as we go through this. If you go to RuralVacantLand.com and look at the live audio, you can see the chat going on there. If you got, maybe pull up another screen or window or something on your computer to get into that. But we got some of the classic guys on here, like I see T Fox is on there. Lonely Prepper Homestead saying finally. I think he was complaining in a couple of the comments saying he always misses these videos because there's no notifications. So he finally made one. Richard Jimenez, a couple of names I've seen on here a couple times. Thanks for coming back, guys. So if you're just chiming in, just listening, I'm going to give away a piece of land for free at the end of this video. I'll pay for recordings and everything. Free land. You can do what you want with it. What Scott had me do with some of his land is had me resell it and go sell it for more, and then we kind of split the proceeds on it. And that's he's happy with that. He's done that, and it works pretty well. And now he's going for more deals. So I mean, you can do whatever you want with the land, but if you have me resell it, we can both make some money off of it, and then go do it again and again and again. The next one is Richard saying Oregon lands. Yeah, Oregon. I don't think I made any live videos about some of the Oregon mailers I just did, but we just sent out some Oregon mailers. So there should be some Oregon lands showing up on the website pretty soon too. T-Fox says, you love me the land with gold. Yeah, there we go. Tahoe is beautiful. Hemingway Land Company says, morning Luke. Hi, Gene. And thanks for joining in, guys. So if you have questions, comments, put them into the chat box and I'll try to answer them, or maybe Scott can read them off as we're digging into this mailer. So I don't know if I can show off my chicken scratch here. Let's see if it shows up on the. Yeah, I like printing these maps of the county maps of the state. Maybe this is really a cartoon way to start, but I like to see where the different counties are, because a lot of the data around land is county specific, and so knowing kind of the market and what's going on in that county for vacant land, and then digging into that data from that county seems to be one of the broader strokes of digging in. And I'm looking at a couple counties because these are smaller counties, and I don't think there's a whole lot of records of private lands that we could make offers on. And I like to do lots of offers because you get better statistic representation of what you get back, right? If you send out 10 offers, maybe you get something, maybe you don't. You send out 1,000 offers, you got a lot better chance of getting something and deals happening, right? So I figured out, I was looking at a couple of these counties. Let me pull up one on the screen. I'll switch over to the screen in a sec here, but I'll just switch over the screen now. Let's pull up my county map. So I can reference it as we're talking about different counties, so people can tell where I'm at. Someone say free Arizona land, 5 acres, please. I don't have that kind of money yet, guys, but as it works to give these properties away, people actually let me go resell them. I think there's enough margins in there to start giving away better and better properties, and I'll probably give away those kinds of properties eventually.
Hey Luke, someone, Georgia Gale just asked about Shasta County with a creek. I know we literally just sold one of those where the property did border a creek. But I know there's a few more Shastas available on your website. So you might want to look there as well. So we have bought Shastas in the past, Georgia, if you're listening.
Yeah, there was a beautiful one on the creek, and someone else bought that one. But there's the other Shasta. I think there's 3 Shastas left on the website. I was just talking to a couple people this morning about them. A couple people are going to take tours of those properties. It's springtime, right? They're getting out and they're looking at them. And they have roads, trees, big pine trees, and I don't know if it's your kind of neighborhood or not, but a lot of people in the neighborhood are growing marijuana. Like, they've got their full-on grow operations going in the backyard. So maybe that's exactly what you're looking for. Maybe it's uncomfortable to be there, like during the end of the grow season when the plants are the most valuable. People get uptight and the neighborhood might get weird. If you're one of the growers, it's great because the whole neighborhood's looking out for you. But if you're not, if you're local, I'm sure you're fine. But if you're going in to tour those properties late in the summer, be careful. The neighbors are going to be cautious about new people coming into the area. So here's a state map of the counties, and Lake Tahoe is right here in the crux of where the border goes. I pulled up another map of Lake Tahoe. So here's the crux of the state. That corner is in the lake. And let me zoom out some. So we got Sacramento over here. San Francisco is further down if the map ever loads. San Francisco's over here. So this is where the money's coming from to go buy the properties over here. And they make it up here in a weekend's run. and they build these spectacular mansion cabins, on the lake or with a view of the lake or in the woods or somewhere close. You've got the fancy, granola bar serving restaurants and grocery stores I love going to. I shouldn't make fun of them. I like those kinds of grocery stores and restaurants. But the fancier stuff around Lake Tahoe, right? Because you've got that audience that comes in there. But you know what I mean. It's a different audience than the classic people that live in the desert. And these are the main roads running up here. So this area is just big trees, mountains. There's Truckee. I used to have a snowboard named after Truckee. That was a good snowboard. I wonder what happened to that one. I don't even remember what happened to it. But so this land around the area, I don't think we can afford the stuff right up looking at the lake, and I think we'll be able to filter that out with assessed values. We won't even mail them offers. But the stuff that's close within range, somewhere around there, maybe we can get some of those properties. So I started looking on LandWatch.com at these different counties. Let me scale back a little bit on my LandWatch. Excuse me. I don't know if you're reading the comments there, Scott.
I am. There's a couple couple people. One commenter asked about east of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
We have some smaller properties in Arkansas. I don't know if that quite qualifies. Another one's asking about, he lives in Oklahoma and anything around the Midwest. You're probably better suited to answer that question, those two questions, Luke, than I am.
It's Oklahoma, the Midwest? I grew up in Michigan. I thought that was the Midwest. Maybe Oklahoma is.
He lives in Oklahoma, and do we ever get anything around the Midwest?
Oh, okay. Got it. I understand. So Anwar keeps posting up properties from Minnesota. I've mailed northern Michigan properties in the past. I totally struck out on those. I didn't get anything. I just got yelled at by the sheriff and like everybody and their brother just wrote me nasty letters and yelled at me because my prices I offered were too low. But I'm sure I could try again at some more targeted prices and get some properties up there. I would like to eventually. I got maybe 5 or 6 mailers kind of in the hopper that I want to do over the next week, and I think one of them is going to be northern Michigan with an old friend of mine from northern Michigan, so might have him working on it. So I pulled up this area. This is in landwatch.com. I put California in there, and I did 1 acres and up. I'll tell you why I did 1 acres and up. It's because I was looking at the cheapest stuff in the area, close to Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe's here in the crux of the map, right? And LandWatch has areas. They have areas of the state. They name them different things like south, southern, northern, whatever. But this part of the state they're calling the gold country, and they sell ads based on land in this area so they can get the bids up more when they have a bigger area. It's my opinion why they do this, but they probably have different opinions. You used to be able to buy ads specifically to the county. They won't do that anymore. Those are really nice targeted ads. Now they dilute them out with bigger areas, and they charge you more for them. But this shows the counties that are in the area, and you can click on a specific county like Sierra, and this is what LandWatch does really nice, is they have a really good setup to be able to sort and slice and dice different properties to look at the market. So if you look at Sierra County, and if I took off the 1 acres and up, you start seeing properties that are like 0.2 something, 0.3, 0.4, and they're in neighborhoods with like HOAs and rules and regulations and stuff I don't really want to deal with. I'm sure there's some really nice properties in there and they're great and everything, but I'm trying to sell like volume of properties, and the HOAs are lots of questions, lots of complaints, lots of frustrations, lots of longer timelines to pull off building a house than ones that don't. So I'd rather just skip those if I can find them. But then there aren't as many properties like that out there either. So it's pros and cons of doing that. But that's why I'm doing 1 acres, because I didn't see much of any neighborhoods that were doing like 1 acre and upsized lots. Maybe this one here is 1 acre lots of 2 acres in that neighborhood. This looks like a country neighborhood. You can bring your horses and stuff. It's not like the kind of neighborhood that tells you what color you can paint your house or not. So I started going through these counties up here. Like Sierra, I found the cheapest one was like $25,000. The next county down is Nevada. The cheapest property is like $50,000. Placer County is like $42,000. El Dorado County had a land dealer from I forget which one, but I was looking up how much he was paying for the properties that he's been buying, and he was been paying $4,500 for the properties that he was buying in that county, and the cheapest he's offering for is like $15,900. So he's trying to mark them up like 3 times. And he bought a couple different properties for the $4,500, same $4,500. So I'm guessing he just offered $4,500 to whatever met his criteria over there and see what kind of deals came back. Alpine County, there was, let me pull up this map again. So I started up here. Sierra, 25,000. Nevada, 50,000. Placer, 42,000. El Dorado, that's the one that's got the land dealer buying stuff for 4,500 and trying to sell it for 15,900. It's probably great deals. I mean, it's compared to the market all around it, it sounds like a really good deal. So he's probably making good business on it. It looked like he'd sold a bunch of them already. And then Alpine County, it's hardly anybody in Alpine County. The cheapest one's like 55 grand. And then Calavernis, I'm sure I'm not saying it right. The same land dealer, I think it was the same land dealer, had land for sale at 10 grand again. They're buying them at 4,500. And Amador County over here, same guy, looks like he mailed there as well, and he's been buying properties at $4,500 and selling them for something more. So this whole area looks like the cheapest ones that came through, they were kind of like steep, ugly ones that he was getting for $4,500. By looking at that, I'm thinking we offer more than him, and hopefully we get a lot more deals that come in, and we can cherry pick them a bit more. Like, we don't have to buy the steep, ugly ones if they come in at our prices, and we can compare to the market, because these are a lot more specific properties, or a lot more unique properties than buying squares in the desert. They're homogeneous over time, and they're a lot easier to price. Like, there's more art to pricing these things, and some of it's going to be distance from Lake Tahoe, driving distance to the casinos, driving distance to the stores, driving distance to whatever, how easy they are to access or not from San Francisco. Do you have to do like boomerang routes around and around? And the zoning, I don't really know a whole lot about the zoning in this area either, but I think if we get a bunch of deals people say they want to sell at our prices, we go figure out the zoning, we figure out the access, we figure out the stuff that people want to sell at good prices, and we figure it out then, and then we decide if we're going to buy it or not. And if we buy it, we buy it, and if not, maybe we renegotiate some lower price, or we do some contract with them to try to sell it before we buy it, and just start negotiating, dealing our way through. You following along, Scott?
Yeah, I'm right here. Yeah, just
got any questions?
A couple good. Yeah, somebody was asking about Grizzly. Maybe I could ask them where exactly Grizzly is.
Grizzly's a neighborhood that is in, I think it's El Dorado County, and I think it's called Grizzly Flats if we're talking about the same place. And Grizzly Flats, I believe, is where a lot of those $4,500 properties were getting bought. So if you want to target like the cheapest cheap stuff in the area, you could probably just go mail Grizzly Flats, like just that neighborhood, and you could probably get stuff. I was looking at the sizes of the properties in that neighborhood, and they seem to be like just over an acre. So I was almost thinking I might do the cutoff in El Dorado County at like, I don't know, 2 acres or 2 1/4 or something, and probably skip the Grizzly Flats stuff. and because that's where the competition is, and get the weird stuff, the unique stuff, the one of a kind stuff that someone from San Francisco, someone from San Francisco is going to want to come build their getaway cabin in, with solar panels and super modern everything, $5,000 kitchen tops, and you know what I mean. Yeah. So if we get those,
somebody can pick up a piece of property that if we can buy it for $5, and just rough math, and they'd be willing to spend $10, $12, $13, $14,000 for it. That does well, and it makes it more interesting for the person buying it too. That a lot of people already live in a 1 acre place that's sort of like a neighborhood in a flat spot. So we want something slightly different.
Yeah, or we could do a different mailer. So here we go. Grizzly Flats, Javier and Carla. I was kind of interested how they get different names under the same company on LandWatch. Guess it's kind of set up like different brokers under the same broker, and how their bill works with that, but that's a different question for a different day. So here's Grizzly Flats. Here's $15,900 what he's asking for it, and I was looking up the records. Looks like he paid $4,500 for my kindergarten research. There's APN number, so you can just pull it up by the APN number, which is really nice of them to put the APN number in there. It's so much more honest than a lot of the real estate guys that don't tell you what property it really is. So I think these guys are doing a good job. I'm not picking on them or anything. I don't want to like directly compete with them. I thought we'd just go on next to them instead of right in their face. So there's a Grizzly Flats. Like if we went and mailed that whole neighborhood, let's take a look at the neighborhood, because that's the cheapest stuff in there. Let's pull up. I'm going to use Agent Pro for this one, because we can see the lot lines around the area and see if there's some of them in that neighborhood that are bigger. Because if I just move up this property size a little bit, we can just cut out the whole neighborhood. I mean, I could try to skim out the APN numbers of the neighborhood, but I think it'd be a lot faster and directer to the point if I just skip the just over 1 acre size properties. And then I feel more comfortable offering more money to everybody else in the area if I'm not offering anything to the cheapest cheap neighborhood in there. What county was it? Eldorado. Eldorado. So let's see if we can get a map of, oh come on, it's not working. So this might take a little bit longer. So if I can't figure out stuff, lots of times I'll look up Smith or Jones or some super generic name in the area, see what their stuff looks like. See, look at this APN 001 and then a bunch of stuff. And the APN this guy had is E. Maybe
hey Luke, there's a couple people saying they can't hear you, and I've got you up on two screens. The Google Hangout one's working fine, but the YouTube one seems to be locked up.
Okay. I'm gonna
refresh.
Yep. Okay guys, we're back live. Someone was saying they couldn't hear me. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. I restarted the system, and the stuff's dancing that the audio is working on my screen. It looks like it is. It's supposed to be. Hopefully you guys can hear me. If I look at the chat, maybe someone will say. Yeah, Luke's running too many programs, exactly. I gotta increase the operating capabilities of this setup, I guess. So hopefully it's back online. It's saying stream health is like yellow though. It's not green, but hopefully it's coming back around.
I'm gonna try to refresh you too, see if that happens.
Okay.
Someone else will shut. Hey, someone said, "There you go, you're back."
Okay, I'm shut down Google Maps. Exactly. I got way too much stuff open. Agent Pro will do it too. So let's see if that starts getting starts working again. I'm not exactly sure how to figure out this APN number. Oh, here's this APN. I had an MLS number.
Someone summoned the song from Jeopardy.
Sorry, guys. Maybe I need to restart again. Okay, Luke Smith, RuralVacantLand.com. We're back live after some technical difficulties. I'm running too many different programs, and hopefully this is coming through. It looks like I got some green bars going instead of yellow and red like I had before, so hopefully there's enough flying through the internet to get to you and you can hear me this time. If you're just chiming in or you're late to the show or whatever, I'm going to give away some free land towards the end of this video. I got Scott Caldwell on the line, and we're doing a live video or a live mailer to mail offers, cash offers to buy land around Lake Tahoe area, like on the California side of Lake Tahoe up in the mountains. Hopefully find some creative properties that are unique, one of a kind properties that we can pick up at good prices and go sell for really good prices on the market. So it looks like it's starting to come. And yeah, so Jeff Hinckley is saying, okay, you good. Thanks, good. Jeff. So I'm gonna go back to the screen here. I was pulling up Agent Pro, and Agent Pro is software you can use to look at neighborhoods and stuff. So this was the cheapest lot in the area. The guy bought it for like $4,500. It looks like there's some bigger lots in the area that are probably part of the community. But this looks like a good sized community that somebody built in here. And looking at it, I mean, it looks like a lot of the lots are going to be the same size. These bigger ones are probably part of the community. Oh, there's a couple bigger ones in there too. I guess if we get some of the bigger ones, I'm not going to turn them down. You know, it's right around 1 acre, a little more than 1 acre, a little less than 1 acre kinds of lots.
Well, it looks kind of promising, Luke, too, because it doesn't look like it doesn't look as built up as for it not to be built up, right?
Yeah, there's houses in there, so it's happening, it's working.
Yeah.
How far from the lake is that? It's not so far from the lake. Looks like a beautiful area, really. So okay, but I still want to bump up the size in Eldorado to let's just do 2 acres. 1 acres and up, and the other one's 2 acres and up in Eldorado. And go bump out that neighborhood. Okay, so there's the idea. I'm gonna go into RealQuest and we'll see what kind of records we have. I mean, there might not be any records, there might be a boatload of records. I don't know what size mailer we're trying to do, but let's see what kind of records we can get into. Figure it out from there. Like Georgia Gale saying, "We need more power, Scotty." Thanks, Georgia. Yeah, I got some crazy fast internet. I don't know what's. It just all bogs down when I turn on all the different cameras and feeds at the same time. Video coming in, video going out. It's probably processing power on my computer. So Sierra, let's pull up Sierra County. Let's do lot size. Bah.
Somebody asked what the elevation was, and I just Googled it real quick. Eldorado County is 1,608 feet, 1,600 feet in elevation.
There you go. What happens if we go up to 10 acres? I'm making up sizes. I don't know what size to go up to. But if someone's willing to sell me 10 acres, I'm happy. And so let's do improved. Well, first let's figure out how many we get. Where's my pen? Sierra. So Sierra, I'm just doing 1 acres and out. No other bits and pieces of restrictions or anything. It's not many records. 944 records. There's not that many private properties in this county of size. So let's do let's get rid of the ones that have improvements on it, because I just want some vacant land. I don't want to deal with all the stuff people build on there, or valuing it or figuring it out. 377. There's not many left. So 1 to 11 acres, 0% improved. Let's see if we can narrow this down, get rid of like I don't see government land and parks and stuff like that in there. Maybe let's look at that again. See if like the U.S. Forestry Service or something. Yeah, USFS. So we got to narrow out some of this stuff. County, Sierra County, Forestry Service, State of California, Morning Glory Gold Mines. We want to take some of these out. So I think the land use, state land use or county land use, or one of those, we could divide by land use. We can get rid of it's like land. Let's do county land use. Let's see if this works. So let's do rural residential, rural land, residential. Let's get rid of the undefined, no public utilities, no professional, no government, institutional, federal, commercial, fish and game, agriculture. We could take agriculture. Let's see what's left. $263. These are actual people. These aren't companies and governments and counties and parks and stuff. Well, there's still got the gold mines in there. Original 16-to-1 mine. I mean, this is a gold country. Superior Court judge. Maybe they took some land away, huh? I've never bought land from the Superior Court judge. I guess through some tax actions. Sierra Pacific Industries. So there's still a couple like forestry companies in there. So we didn't do anything about the assessed value on these. I think it's so few records. We buy these records and then get them into Excel and sort them out from there. We look at the crazy taxes and the crazy, old transactions and stuff, and sort out some of the properties from there instead of playing around with assessed numbers and trying to get them out before, because it's just so few properties. I think we want to retain as many records as we can. So I'm going to save this one as Sierra. We might edit something if we come back through, learn off of one of the others. Oh.
Hey, Luke, one of the people, Denzel, Lonely Prepper Homestead's asking if you keep up with the percentage of response for the mailing. And I think I might be able to help answer that. And it varies with, where you send mailers, and how much you say percentage of response. So somebody actually calls and yells at you, is that considered a response, or is it, a response where you actually buy a piece of property, or two different responses? But some places, I know we talked about Maine, because I live in New England, and up in Maine, people just call and yell at you because the property's been in the family for 100 years and they don't want to sell it. So you count that as a response, or do you not count it as a response until someone actually, sells you the piece of property?
That's a very good point. I mean, I've had some smaller mailers, maybe 40% of the offers I send out, people will get back to me. So I'll keep track of it in a spreadsheet. I just highlight it as yellow and they get back to me, whether it's phone, voicemail, email, letters in the mail, whatever. And yeah, like 40% is the highest I've ever seen. It's a lot of people just don't get back to you. And then that's in an area where they've never seen offers from anybody before. And it's new, it's weird, it's different. They're not used to it. And they respond with questions, and that was before I got more direct in a lot of my mailers. And they would ask if I'm like in the crazy house or something, send them a letter from there. But other people would get back and, sell me the land. So I don't know who's in the crazy house. The more common though, I think it's like desert homogeneous kinds of lands. If you price it okay, I think you buy like 1% of the deals that go through. And I don't think it's not like you mail 100 properties or 100 different owners and you get one property. I think it's you mail 1,000 and you get one guy that sells you 10 properties. I think that's much more common. Or you mail 500, you get one guy that sells you 5 properties instead of 1 per 100. But the statistics come out as like 1 property per 100 offers, when you look at that kind of ratio. I think these properties up in the mountains like this, I don't think we'll get those kinds of numbers. But I think if we get them, there's a lot higher margins on the deals, like a lot more money per deal, a lot less paperwork for the amount of money you make, a lot more just a lot higher end deals, as you go up the ladder a little bit. I don't know if I'm explaining myself right. Still there, Scott?
I sure am.
Cool.
I'm trying to answer as many questions as I can to try to keep the heat off for a second, Luke.
So I'm going to do a bunch.
Comments, though. Everybody keep them coming.
Recreation. I'm going to do a bunch of the residential properties. I'm going to skip these recreational ones. Multi-residential, I'm going to skip that. I'm going to skip the industrial for now. I'm going to skip the commercial. Vacant agricultural. There's a lot of agricultural ones. Single family residential on ag land. That sounds entertaining. Vacant multi-residential on ag land. Undefined unimproved property. I don't like this undefined stuff. Timber Preserve, I'm staying out of there. Staying out of the Timber Preserve because lots of times they got crazy regulations. You gotta have super tons of land before you can build a house on it. They're trying to like protect the forestry industry. Single family residence on ag land. Bunch of those. Service station. I'm gonna skip that. Retail store, I'm skipping that. Retail clothes, restaurant, rest home, residential property, I'll take that. Residential, I got a bunch of different definitions of residential. Residential, I don't know what these are. Residential travel trailer. Let's give it a try. The more mail I send and the more negotiations I get into, the more I'm willing to skip deals. Like as deals come in, I'm like, oh great, could make money on this, but do I really have to buy it? No. I just try to cherry pick them more and more. Residential mobile home. Residential medical. Golf course. I'm gonna skip the golf course ones. Every time I get the golf course ones, they come with fees and taxes and rules. Condos, residential bed and breakfast, timeshare, I'm skipping that too. Recreational property, that just means you can't do what you want with it. Recreational travel trailer, travel park. I'd like to target people that want to build homes, so I'm gonna skip these recreational ones. I like property where you can put an RV on it if you want, but you can also build a home someday too. It's not like RV only, a certain amount of time a year and that's it. Recreational mobile home. There's a lot of them in this county. Motel, mortuary, mobile home on ag land. Mobile home with, okay, let's just do a bunch of mobile home stuff. Probably one property to each one of these codes. Mobile home something else. Mobile home park, I'm skipping the parks. Mining, I'm skipping the mining. Medical, laundromat, industrials, I'm skipping those. Government, definitely skipping that. Florist, fast food, commercial. Boy, this county really categorizes their land. Beer bar, bed and breakfast. We already had bed and breakfast. Agricultural. Wow, that's gonna be a list. Jeez, look at that. Maybe like 5 pages of. Oh wow, look at all the records. What county is this? Nevada County? That's enough
Starting to look like a real list now.
Yeah, that might be enough records for a mailer right there. This county's split up something crazy. I wonder if we can split properties here or what the story is. Let's look at that market a little closer. So this is Nevada County. Let's go back to Nevada County, see if there's like one crazy neighborhood over there or something.
Somebody just commented Nevada County is beautiful, Luke. So that's
I bet.
Always a plus for them.
What is it, Carson City? Like it's old Western, you know, like guys with their 30-30 riding a horse into town, a little bit of snow in the mountains as they come over in the old Western movies. I can't think of what movie that is, but I mean, that's probably a lot of it still looks like that, I'm sure. Price low to high, Nevada County. A long strip of a county. Grass Valley, that's what it is. Grass Valley's over there.
Yeah, and somebody just asked too, Grass Valley and Nevada City are their favorite parts of California, so. this is great input from the folks that are chatting, because they, you know, we don't always know exactly what something's like, but if somebody's familiar with it, that's helpful information for us.
So here's the same guys. They've been doing this a couple times. Jim Moore has the property at one price, and Carla, whoever, has it at a slightly higher price. Look, it's 2.4 acres, 2.47 acres, a different presentation, but it's, I'm thinking it's the same property. Let's look at the APN number. I mean, that's one way to get more eyeballs to look at your property. Just make 2 different ads, 2 different sales pitches, see which one actually sells, learn about what kind of presentation does it. So this one ends in 23. It's like split testing the land sales, right? I don't know if they're just being sloppy and doing it twice, or if they're being really smart about it. The Truckee Grass Valley area, it's the same property, exact same property. So if we go to, let's see what they paid for this. I bet you it's $4,500. I bet you they at least mailed out $4,500. They might have negotiated something higher.
Yeah, they're asking 50. It's kind of hard to see through here. Is that 58,000, Luke, or 50?
Yeah, one was asking 50, one was asking 58,000. See if we can pull up recent sales data. There's a lot of ways to pull up sales data. This will just give us a map and more information about it as well. There's houses in the area, there's little streets. I'm not sure if a street goes right up to it or not, but let's see what the sales in for $4,500, 2017. Yep. Guys mailed $4,500. Now they're trying to sell it for $50,000. I hope they pull it off. But I think we can mail something more than $4,500 and get a better selection of properties to swing at. But you got to keep in mind, when you go sell stuff in a market like that, these guys that are now asking 50, if I come out there at 25, you know, they can pass me because they got lower cost on these properties on their way down to $4,500 to try to get the thing moved through the market. So it's good to know where the competition's cost basis is too, you know. So this is a lot of properties. Penn Valley, Grass Valley. I wonder who's up in the market beyond them. Like, if we don't worry about the land dealer, but what's the realtors at? The realtors are probably a bunch more. There's 2.5 acres for $59,000. Sugar Pine and Ponderosa Pine. There's the same guy, same ad. $49,000 or best offer. Willow Valley. 62,000, 69,000, 77,000.
Yes, they're still coming in lower than the NLS people, but still a good delta between the costs.
Yeah. So I think that's enough data right there. I mean, we could go dig into these other counties, but I think we got enough records to work on for now, just between these two. I'm thinking kind of $10,000 price range. I mean, I want to do a little more work on this, but I got to go get the kids at school pretty soon. And I think we got the search. I think we got the logic of the market. All I have to do is download the data and juggle through the data. I'll probably do that like after I get the kids to bed tonight or something. And
how many total records did you come up with, Lou, for the mailer?
Well, there's 3283 on this one if we did 1 acre to 11 acres. And there's so many in there. I might get more precise about the acreage size and the assessed values. Like look at making different prices for the bottom 10, 20, 30% of properties, assessed value properties, and maybe something higher for the 30, 40, 50, 60% assessed value properties, and then the higher yet assessed value properties might just throw some Hail Marys in there, make sure they yell at me. And
if we're splitting the mailer and make sure you put your name on those ones, okay? And put mine on the other.
Get them to really yell. Yeah, no, I'm not trying to piss people off. I mean, oftentimes one guy will call back all mad, huffy puffy about my offer, and the guy next door will call back and say, thank you so much for making the offer. I had no idea what I'm going to do with this land. I don't want to go through the whole realtor process of selling it, giving tours, and worrying about all the whatever he is worrying about, some tree that's going to fall on somebody that's going to take a tour and mess up his insurance, or just a million different worries that people have when it comes into selling these things. And they say, I can't believe you got a cashier's check to my door as fast as you did to buy that property. They're always stunned. People are surprised. I mean, sometimes I take a little longer to get back to people, but the vast majority of them, I see a good deal, I jump on it, I get the money in their hands fast, get the paperwork rolling, get the deal done. And they're really happy to get the money. There's all kinds of things that happen in their life. The car broke down, somebody's in the hospital, kid needs to go to college, they got to pay for a new business, they got some investment opportunity in front of them that's a gold mine, compared to this vacant land sitting there. Who knows what the story is? They want to sell. They want to sell right now. And they never thought they'd get cash out of it that fast until they got my letter. And then they get the letter and they're like, okay, let's go for it. And they end up getting the land, and I put it up for sale on the internet, and people can take off with it and have fun with it. And that's how the land gets back into the marketplace, the lowest price on the internet, or lowest prices you can get land around for doing our job right. So that's the idea. I'd like to give away a piece of land. Maybe Scott, you could come up with a question, something we talked about earlier in the video that kind of proved that someone was paying attention. And first person to answer that question, I'll give them a free piece of land. And it's first person. Yeah, one sec. First person that doesn't work for me or with me, and hasn't won land from me already. New person.
Okay. I don't know if I could, if we can go off the chat, or we should go off of what Luke said, because somebody asked a pretty good question earlier. And they asked about the elevation of a certain town. So if you can name the town and the elevation,
okay,
or the county rather than the elevation, if that works for you, Luke.
Yeah, the town sounds good. So who was it? Someone was asking about the elevation and what town, and somebody put a number in there, 1608. I was asking
the county and the elevation.
County and elevation.
Yeah, which I looked up.
Eldorado, the county? Okay. So Frey Magic Bus got Eldorado. And a couple guys before that got some elevations, but I think we wanted the county. So Frey Magic Bus. Frey Magic Bus, if you could email Gillian, Gillian's my assistant, Gilin, Gillian at ruralvacantland.com, and say my YouTube username is Frey Magic Bus, and give us your title information, title being what name you want to own this property in that I'm giving to you. If you want to change the name later, you got to do paperwork and it costs you money. So please tell me what name you want the property in, if it's your name or you and a spouse, or your kids or your company or your trust or whatever it might be. And then an address that you want the county to send your future tax bills to. So the address where the deed will go, the address where the taxes will go. Hopefully it's the same address to keep it easy for me. And then your contact information. If I could get like a phone number and email, like basic contact information, just in case I have any questions about this to you. I'm not going to be like marketing to you or anything. I'm asking that, if I give you this land, maybe you'll let me resell it for you at some higher prices and we split the difference. If you want to do whatever you want to do with the land, great. But if you want me to resell it, that's fun too. And we could roll it into the next one or others, kind of like Scott's been doing on his properties. And we're starting to run out of properties. So we're doing this mailer for Scott and get some more. So we're gonna put Scott in on half the calls. I'm gonna take half the calls and see how it goes. So thank you. Thanks everybody that's chimed in, it's listening, it's asking questions, it's learning, it's watching. I'm going to try to keep doing this. I might have a couple more mailers like this week. I think I can pull them off. Either way, I've got a deal review live call on Monday morning at 9 a.m. booked, scheduled. I'm going to try to do that every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. I'll give away a piece of free land. And the call might be like an hour, hour and a half or something, depending on what kind of deal reviews you want to do. So if you've got land you're shopping, that you're trying to sell, that you're scratching your head about and stuff, submit that to Gillian at ruralvacantland.com, and she'll get it queued up for the deal review call Monday morning, and I'll go through the land. The last week I reviewed 3 different properties, and the guys wanted to sell the properties. I think 2 out of the 3 sold, like on the live call at the same time I was talking about them, basically. Because they're presented, right? Just showing you about the properties and the neat aspects. One of them I thought was the neatest was Curtis had one that was a couple different lots in the same property, and you could sell off the different lots. He was already selling the thing for half the market, but you could take those lots and you could, you multiply your money on it by selling the individual lots. That one sold pretty fast. So if you have them, put them in there, and I'll talk about them Monday morning. In the meantime, I should have some more of these videos coming through. If you're watching this later on, please subscribe and watch for some more live calls. I'll give away some more land. And thanks everybody for your questions, comments. I learn off of you guys telling me about these areas. It's great. So thank you everybody. Thank you, Scott, for coming on the call and taking some of the calls from the people who'll call back on these offers.
Thanks, Luke. Thanks for doing this, because since I started doing business with you and buying and selling land, I'm really getting into it.
Yeah.
And Luke's a great teacher and always deals honest and square with people, and I really, really like that.
Yeah.
So thanks again, Luke, and we'll talk real soon.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to hang up and talk to you guys all later. Okay, I turned the recording off. So I got these.
I can still hear you. Let me just your
Well,
YouTube